I'm Jeff Young, co-founder, co-owner, and brewer of Blue Owl Brewing, and you're watching the Beer Diaries. The last time we filmed and talked, I was just starting Black Star Co-op, the world's first cooperatively owned brew pub. And I spent quite a few years there developing recipes, getting the brew pub off the ground, and then at some point started deciding that I wanted to start a new project. And that's where essentially I very quickly met with Suzy Schaffer, my business partner, and everything just kind of fell into place for building a very unique concept, having a 100% sour mashed brewery.
I think it's a mile east of downtown, just due east. Very central. It's considered the east side, but Austin's sprawling out, so we're becoming more and more part of the downtown central location.
Everything went very smoothly and quickly initially, I think because of just the general atmosphere here in Austin as far as craft breweries, people with disposable income that love craft beer and want to be a part of it. People really embraced it. They put a lot of trust in Suzy and myself that we were going to get it done right. We got our permits within, again, unheard of turnaround, 3 weeks. We had our TABC permit from after we applied, but it wasn't until that we had to get the permits from the city and have our plans correctly drawn and then have our landlord do the finish out of the space. We started hitting a lot of hurdles and really slowed, if not killed, our initial momentum. Now that we're all the permitting's over, we've made the beer, we've shipped it out, and now we're just kind of waiting for the payments to start coming in, and it's just a tight time financially as we're trying to get off the ground. The sour mashing process is essentially a pre-fermentation souring where I use naturally occurring bacteria in wild yeast and mold and anything that is occurring on the grain husks, and I use those grain husks and microflora that is on them to inoculate the wort during the middle of the brew day. And all that goes on before fermentation, so at that point you just have a sweet wort that gets some various levels of acidity, lactic acid in it, in addition to a bunch of other minor components from all the other stuff that might have been on that grain. So you get some complexity to the sourness too. There's a lot we don't know about this process, and there's a lot that we can do. The doors are being opened to do. You have to be willing to just kind of let go, know that you don't have those rules, but you also don't have the safety net of making a style that you know people are already gonna like. So you have to be willing to let go and creative enough to start thinking about what can we do with sour mashing, what can we apply it to. So all these beers are the beer names, and the beers themselves are supposed to be fairly approachable and easy to relate to in your own way. Like spirit animal, you can relate it to whatever your spirit animal is, and you have a connection. We try to do that with, say, like Professor Black, who is a person. You can immediately in that name just kind of visualize some Professor Black. He's kind of a nerd that goes out to the cherry fields and is examining out of all these cherry fields. Picked one cherry and examining it through a magnifying glass. And we kind of thought that was a good way to illustrate that, you know, we're looking very closely at details of these beers and trying to go to the smallest level and making a really good beer. Opening a business is a very personal process. It's very taxing, stressful,
the wind can be taken out of your sails very easily. But when you get to the point to where you're making the beers and the beers are coming out mostly like the way you design them, and you see people enjoying them at bars, there's no sensation better than that. That can't be replicated.